I do believe that the strongest people need the most support,
Right.
because they're probably holding everything together,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know when to cut the cord or whatever. So I do believe that.
Hi guys, my name is Vivian and welcome once again to the Art, Heart and Heart podcast. As always, it is a pleasure to have you here. So please come on in and be a part of us today. As always, I have some amazing people on set, and today especially I have some very beautiful ladies with me. As on my right is the fantabulous Pastor Lydia Ngina. She's an author, she's a life coach, she's a mentor. She calls herself the midwife of ideas. There you go. And then on my left is the gorgeous Maureen Muhia, who is a very renowned YouTuber. I mean, you guys, I am sure you check her out on her channel. I love how bold she is. And I've heard only amazing things about you, Maureen.
Thank
so
you.
Please, welcome. Feel this is a safe space. Yes.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is art, heart, and heart, artistry. Roho na madena problems.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
ushugu za
Machida.
machida za
za kiroho
za kiroho na artistry. Kwa kuna kuwaga na mashida, because art is really from here. Yeah. So before we get straight into the topic for today, I think each of you can just say something little about yourselves,
Right.
just for the audiences to get to know you better. So perhaps we'll start with you, Pastor El.
All right.
So my name is Lydia. I consider myself to be a midwife for people and ideas, an encourager, but also an optimist. This is what I do, and I recently authored a book, and I'm also a life coach. So that's what I'm about.
Awesome. Maureen.
My name is Maureen Muhia. I am a YouTuber, and I'm also fabulous for a living, if I do say so myself. But honestly, in all aspects, I'm a YouTuber, and I do lifestyle videos on YouTube. You can check me out. Yeah, and that's about it.
Fantastic. So, ladies, today I want us to talk about strong women, but in a sense that, do strong women need support? So we are existing in a society where the woman is more courageous. She's more willing to put out herself out there. She's more willing to go for what she wants. She just doesn't want to be identified by the traditional roles that the woman has been identified with for centuries, actually. And so we'll just get straight into it. Perhaps just to start with you, Maureen, what would you consider as support? And does the strong woman need support?
But before we continue, I wanted to ask a question.
Right.
Are you asking about the strong woman appearing on social media, like, or in the public eye, like all of us here? Or are you asking about the strong woman appearing in the estate or in
It
the
doesn't
office?
have to be. It doesn't have to be a public job. Like you can be a strong woman because you're organized, because you trust your intuition, because you're okay being single and you feel whole as a single woman, because you're not really looking to be accepted by the society. So in that aspect, perhaps a woman who's self-aware or knows who she wants, what she wants.
You're asking if it's okay.
If
Or
it's
my
okay for
opinion.
her to need support.
Oh, okay.
If she needs support,
Yes.
if she should need support, if she
Yes.
should ask for support, and what does support look like for the strong woman? Yeah.
Well, I believe that I'll go by the saying that no one man is an island. We tend to think that we are, especially strong women.
Right.
They are told, it's drilled into them. No, what is it called? What is that saying? I'm a black, single, independent, strong.
Yes.
Hey, strong black woman has been drilled into,
Yeah.
especially into the black woman a lot, and I think it's crippling, because if the saying is there that no one man is an island, then how come you're looked at as a strong Black woman who doesn't need anyone. I believe support is important, and it doesn't have to be from a man, as you said.
Yeah.
It can be from wherever you draw support from. It can be from your siblings. If you are born alone, it can be from your parents. If they're not there, it can be from your workmates. So I do believe it is needed, and I do believe anyone, even the strong, and I do believe that the strongest people need the most support,
Right.
because they're probably holding everything together,
Mhm.
and they don't know when to cut the cord or whatever. So I do believe that strongest people actually need strongest women. But wait, I don't even like that strong woman notion.
Right.
I don't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's start there.
Right.
Not even about needing support. I don't like that strong woman
Mhm.
notion. And it's been drilled into Black women.
Mhm.
And you know, when you're compared to other women of even not even of other women, even in our society of us being Black women, there's the colorist issue of darker women and a lighter woman, and a lighter woman cannot handle what a darker woman can
Mhm.
handle. Excuse me, this melanin. No, please. I'm a gentle girl.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't. Let's start there. Even let's go back. I don't believe in that preaching about being a strong man. I believe in self-awareness,
Yes.
being
Right.
aware of who you
Absolutely.
are, being aware of what your actions are bringing forth,
Mhm.
being aware of where you're going, direction, and such things. But the fact that some people expect you to handle things
Mm.
because they term you as a strong woman based
Mhm.
on very inconsiderable things such as the color of your skin
Right.
really, really jolts me.
Right.
Because personally, I can handle nothing. Yeah.
You refuse.
I've refused. I don't know where anything is. I know, excuse me, my fingers do not work. Even currently, they're gone. I don't, but I do. But that was on a lighter note.
Yeah.
But I'm sure what I'm saying is making sense.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I love how you've said it. Firstly, I love that you've said, first, let's get rid of that one.
Yeah, I don't
Because
like
it
it.
automatically puts pressure for you to do things and perform. And just as you get into that, Pastel, just even as a midwife, especially for women and for people, now that culture that we have, whereby it's my strength, I'll show them. And where did we get that? Like, and in fact, even thinking about what are some of the consequences that happen, because like we were talking about it yesterday, there are seasons you go through in your life whereby you have zero strength. Even looking at something like, as a woman, when you're in the maternity ward, let me give that example, and you're giving birth, and if you had to do that process, I was talking to a friend of mine, she's called Scully, and we were talking about that instance. If you're in the maternity ward, now unaza, okay, now be strong there. Will you be able to get a baby out? Are you even able to hold yourself together after? Where did we get that thing that I don't need nobody?
Yeah. Those
Yeah.
are they are lies that have been passed on from generation to generation.
Right.
And if you think about it, we are the first generation that now the woman has actually greater opportunities to drive, even to access money, to be managers and even be a president. We're seeing it now.
Right.
This is when we're experiencing. So there's a form of liberty that is also coming in that space of the woman. But there's also still perversion that has come along with it. So we've seen the perversion of the woman being subjugated in all religions, in all cultures. The woman is considered as subservient to a man, but now there's this thing that's come out. So there's the perversion of it, and there's also some of the things that we need to redeem about it. So the whole idea is that, yes, strong women, I mean, just a woman anyway, whether you're strong or weak, you need support.
Right.
You need that kind of support. And I think one of the ways we are our own worst enemy sometimes, because we don't know how to ask for help.
No, not me.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah.
Help me now.
But I think Pastor is saying sometimes you have to learn how to ask for help.
I never had to learn.
Okay.
You did? Okay. Then
no. Because
yeah.
Someone said, it was a theory that has been done. Whatever animal, any animal in the whole animal kingdom, whatever animal instinct you're first born with is what you come out of the womb doing.
Okay.
Yes? what is it? Any giraffe, it
Mhm.
comes out running. If it is born, it's dropped on the ground and you see it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, an elephant is born and everyone else hides around it because they know it doesn't know how to protect itself.
Instinctively.
Yes, as human beings, we're born and the first thing we do is cry, help me.
Help
That's
me.
the first thing we do as
Yeah.
human beings. No human being has ever been born and started eating. No. Okay, yes, suckling, but you don't start eating solid food. We're born and we start crying
Yeah.
because you need help. So I've always known
Yeah.
to ask for help.
Yeah.
Even if you shun me, I'll ask for help. What is the direction here? How do I
So
go?
what you're saying is that asking for help, despite the fact that someone may not be willing to help you,
Yes.
because sometimes I think people stop asking for help because someone doesn't help you. So you're like, okay, then I won't ask again. And I think that's also a trauma response, you know?
That's a trauma response.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a
It's gotten there to that point
Right.
where you start thinking, am I too needy?
Yes.
Mm,
Is it me?
mm,
No, then you're asking the wrong people.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The answer is always yes.
Yeah.
Well, or no, depending on what you're asking for.
And even from what Maureen has said, as I keep saying, I'm a student of psychology. I'm pursuing a diploma there. And the funny part is humans, how we are born, we are one of the most needy babies. Like you need to be tended to. There are babies in other, you know, the way you're talking
Animal
about the
kingdom,
giraffe,
yeah.
who are born and within 6 months, they don't need. The human, firstly, you're born, you can't walk, you can't talk, you can't.
You can't do anything.
So if you, that's why if you leave a baby here, you'll just find them there, crying, shattered, whatever. So we need so much support when
Yeah.
we are growing. And I think just even from what she said, that culture, and it's so ingrained, especially if I look even at our country, just even in Kenya. Kenya has, I think, one of the largest number of women who are in leadership positions, who are running multinational companies, and just who are in spaces where they're the ones who are calling the shots. And you know, I have seen very strong women being extremely lonely, because also people are not willing to give them help. And I don't know, Pastor El, I know you've just talked about it, but maybe if you could just expound a little bit in there. Is it that people are not willing to help them, or they don't ask for help, or how they're packaged? Because get in your own car, you drive your own car, you pay your own bills, you pay your own mortgage. And I don't know, I know there's no guy here, but you know I know it doesn't have to be a man, but also that mindset. How do we draw ourselves from that so that we have a balance in the self-awareness, but also asking for support?
And as you said, self-awareness, I believe, is the beginning of transformation, you know, of a better society, but also individual transformation. So yes, I agree with that. And that's the thing, that picture of that woman, you can even see it how it's been painted, you know. It's very strong, very independent. I know I got it, you know, I know what I'm doing, I don't need anyone. So it's also that because of the backlash that has come, because you're breaking out of the mold of society,
right?
And therefore there's a lot of backlash. Manenos, you're told all sorts of things, so now you become very isolated and lonely. And therefore, because I'm on this side now and I got my packs on this side, I don't need you also. Let me do my thing. And you disregard the fact that at any given moment, the paradox of being a human is that you're an individual and a member of a community at any time.
Wow.
And there's responsibility that you have to yourself first, to keep evolving, to keep transforming. You know, now that you're on this side and you're making access and gaining, there's also the responsibility you have to the community.
Right.
Because as you said, no man is an island. There's that balance. So there is the individual opportunity, and by all means pursue, you know, go for it. An opportunity, go, become. But remember the paradox of being a member of community. And there's also intentionality, even with the business and the things that you're doing. You have to intentionally then grow the people around you as well, and find people who, you know, it doesn't have to be 17 million people. You know, there can be 2 or 3 people who
Right.
these are my peeps, they go find support, but also spiritual support as well, because at some point you will need, there's only no one, there gets to a place where no one can rescue you, your own rescue, and you need a form of spiritual support, where a relationship with God has to be solid enough to know that you can depend on him, and the power of prayer is also a form of support. Sometimes we don't think of it like that. We think of it as a trading space where you're going to God and asking for stuff and just exchange, but it's also a form of support where you rely on him to help you in figuring out some of these dynamics and how to walk around it. And then there's the peace that comes from that. So there's of course the financial support, which is fantastic, but there are also other, I know, which is great, I love it, but there's also that other relationships, spiritual support, these other things, other dynamics, so that by the end you're on the other side of success, you're also whole. You're not in any way bend, you're a whole person. We can actually enjoy the completeness of who you are.
So there's something you said about the dynamics of prayer, and we have this mindset that God is here, but he's not in my, when I'm going to shop, there's no God. That's me and my shopping list. When I'm going to, we sort of like, we have like compartments where we put God. And I feel like that's also a mistake that we make, because if you are really just think about it from a whole dimension, God, I believe, is really in every single aspect of our lives, because he's the creator of all. And I don't know, just to go back to you, Maureen, in your journey as a YouTuber, because, I mean, as a musician, I understand the dynamics of, creating content and all these things and the ideas and coming up and being consistent and,
yeah, all that nonsense that you're told.
all that hula baloo. Perhaps for you, what is that journey like? And are you able to sort of like say, I have support? Or when I started initially, I had support and then maybe people fell out, or I became this mega diva, and I was like,
diva was always there. That is ingrained.
Where is my coffee? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, to be quite honest, I didn't have any support when I started. I've told this story before, but I'll tell you guys, because of course you don't know. I started my YouTube channel in my uni dorm room. I lived in a dorm room, and as terrible as this sounds, I'm not a people person. This is just when I come outside the house, but I'll be locked in until Wednesday from today. So I started in my own dorm room. I didn't have a roommate. My mom made sure I didn't have a roommate because she knew I wouldn't get along with whoever would be my roommate.
Oh, wow.
And she paid extra to make sure that I was alone. So I was really happy to set up my nuns. Actually, I didn't even have a camera. So I used to record on my HP. Gosh, such hard times. So the camera of the HP, I used to record on that. I was actually going to uni for radio and TV, so I knew what I wanted to do. So I graduated uni and I came back to Kenya, and I was like, yes, mom, I want to be in front of the camera. And I was trying to tell my parents I want to do YouTube. This was in 2012.
Right.
And they looked at me, they said, Besa si kuma computer ini. The money, how are you going to get the money from there? And I took her, and I also didn't know how the money was going to come. But I hadn't researched that far. I just knew what I wanted to do. So I hadn't thought about how I was going to earn a living. And I didn't care anyway. So I had to let my dream go from 2012. And then I continued, and then I think I revived my channel again in 2015. I kept trying. And in 2015, the person I was dating at the time, they said to me I would amount to nothing. So, yes, this was not a career you should have. It was not something you should be in. And I said to them, this is my passion. Guys, I'm smiling because I'm so over it. And I have a something to say about that much later. Remind me what I want to say about the people in my past. And I said to him, no, it's my passion. And that is as much of how ahead I was. I only knew being on YouTube was my passion.
Yeah.
I didn't know much more. And he said passion. He told me, he actually said to me that your passions will never pay the bills. And I said, oh, okay. And I just left it alone.
Right.
So since vlogging on my camera in 2009, I kept being put down with no form of support anywhere. And not to say that I didn't have great jobs in the midst of it.
Right.
I had great jobs. I had high earning jobs. I
Right.
had good jobs. I had such good jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but I knew where my calling was to be on YouTube and it was to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew that's where my calling was. Not that I was suffering and toiling during
Right.
that time of
Right.
not being in the camera.
Right.
I was still fine, but
Right.
I didn't have support for what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So until now, 2018,
Mm-hmm.
the end of 2018 is when I actually got real support.
Wow.
And I got real support from someone I didn't even want support from. I was
Right.
done. I was tired of YouTube. I don't want to be in that space.
Yeah.
I'm here doing other things, and I was encouraged
Right.
very much. So and I've actually told this story on my YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He's my husband now.
Oh,
But
fantastic.
when I met him, I didn't know that. And he said to me, he asked me, I think he had searched my name and I had a blog post at the time. Gosh, not even a missmuhia.com. It was missmuhia.blogspot.com. You see, do you see those things?
Right.
So I was known.
Mhm.
And he said, no, I searched for you and I think you should really do this.
Right.
And I said, who are you? What do you know?
Right.
Where are you from?
Right.
I was actually very,
Yeah.
I was volatile.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, how dare you tell me, a strong woman,
You know?
what I'm supposed to be doing?
Trauma response.
Yeah, trauma response. After this whole time, no one is supporting me. No, you're being supported,
And you're
fighting.
exactly.
Yes, yeah, I was fighting. Do you know what he did? He took me. We went out on a Friday night. I was still young those days. We went out on a Friday night.
Right.
I made sure we stayed out late
Right.
because he had told me the next day we were going to buy equipment. So I made sure we went out so that on Saturdays the shop would be closed. 9
So you're
a.m.
even jeopardizing yourself
Yes,
now.
Yes, I
Self-sabotage.
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I was. 9 a.m. sharp. Let's go and buy the equipment.
Oh wow.
I was like, okay. So I just went.
Mhm.
We got ring lights, we got lights, we got
Right.
tripods, we got a fake microphone, but a microphone nonetheless.
Right.
And then he was like, okay, start.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think we had dated for 2 months by this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I'm going to start next year.
Procrastination,
Yeah.
sasa.
Yeah,
Ndio
you
hiyo.
see? But I needed the support. And I always tell women, it's okay to say that at some point you needed
Yes.
someone. It's
Absolutely.
okay. I
Absolutely.
didn't do this by myself. And now to finish off on this element of support is after starting in now being serious and consistency and
Yeah.
uploading and all this hula baloo that they keep telling us about. My mom started supporting me
Oh, wow.
in 2020.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
because I had actually shown her.
Yeah.
Because you also
Measured.
can't.
Yeah.
You also can't say
You can't keep talking and
you
not
can't
doing.
keep talking.
Yeah.
Yes. But you see, sometimes to do, you need the support.
Yes.
Sometimes it goes. You need to go back and
But
front.
remember, like there's so many things I've picked from what
Yeah.
Maureen has said. Number one, how you birth the idea.
Mhm.
And we are told that for you to have an idea, you need to know how it's gonna make money. Excuse me, you
Yeah.
don't.
You don't.
I didn't know.
No one does.
Yeah.
Maureen, if you ask any person who starts a
No.
big dream, they don't know. When I started music, I had no clue.
Nope.
In fact, at some point after doing it for 2 years, I was like, this thing, I'm going to die poor.
Washana nayo.
Please, mtu asiwahi kuniambia mambo ya music.
Tuwashana nayo.
If you want, you go and do. But it's your heart.
Yeah.
Because the world is projecting this thing to you that you need to have it figured
Yeah.
out. You don't. In fact, for a minute, we usually don't. And another thing that I've picked even from what she said is that sometimes you start something and the people you expect. And that's the importance of starting. Because you see that thing she's saying, Maureen at Blogspot.
Yeah.
That Blogspot,
Miss Muhia.
Miss Muhia,
Imagine.
is what brought her the husband that went,
Yeah,
they
and
went,
such.
Yeah.
because he saw something.
Yeah.
But you see, if she had not done that Blogspot, there'd be nothing to
Yeah.
show.
I had videos from 5 years ago 10 years ago, even terrible lighting, doing my dreadlocks. I had dreadlocks back then.
Oh, wow.
And those are the ones he went and watched. And in that, he saw me now.
Yeah.
You know?
You saw the gold.
Oh, you saw me.
Yeah.
I'm going to marry you for real.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we have
Yeah,
it
for sure.
inside us, and sometimes we don't know, we don't see it because no one in your circle is telling you about
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
And just to shift that to you, Pastor, so many people are shy of starting with what they have.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's something I told Maureen, and she was like, I don't like that. And I like that as well, because it's good to also have your personal standards. When she said aka poor machine.
Yeah, HP.
Yeah,
Hey, which
HP
Packard?
poverty.
Is that the? I
Mm.
was so poor.
That's
I was poor. Guy.
and okay, you're gonna explain to us why you think that's the mark of poverty.
Then
Then-
recording with a HP camera.
But that's how you were identified ultimately.
I was poor.
You were okay.
Then
So there's a principle there of
no, I know what she
Yeah.
said after
Yeah.
was you said
Right.
right now kuna mtu akona hiyo HP na naona nikaa amefika.
yeah,
You see why I said I don't like that.
right,
I don't like that because
right,
as terrible as this sounds,
right.
there's levels. I'm going to swear on this one, you can blame me.
Yeah.
There's levels to this shit.
Mm,
There just is.
right.
And where you start, imagine if right now from 209, I would still be on a HP. Even
Mm.
I've not progressed in
Mhm.
real life.
Mhm.
I don't have
Results.
results.
Right.
Even you are evolving. So comparing someone starting out, that's their starting point. And
Yes.
good for them.
Yeah.
I'll clap for them. You
Yeah.
got your HP.
Fantastic.
Kudos to you.
Yeah.
Me, please.
Right.
We are going elsewhere. And
Right.
it starts with an A
Right.
and ends with an A.
Mm.
It's an apple.
Right.
We are headed there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you need the best.
You do. So from what Maureen is saying, it's like a combination of where you start from, right? Which there's what you'll start with. Because I know sometimes when you're told, start where you are with what you have, you just get into the blanket and sleep.
You
Because
know? Yeah.
it's
Unachido.
because unasema, okay, you want to stress me, even I'm not starting anywhere with anything. So that concept as well, versus what is the level of ambition,
Mm.
right? Like, is it too ambitious to project from the get-go? I know we are talking about support, but you see, you have to have something that is supported.
Yes.
Because that's also a thing. Because people think, I need support. Like, I get it, and I am going to be very careful about this, because I have upcoming artists who constantly will tell me, Vivian, why are you forgetting us upcoming artists? Why? When I started my music, I remember I was also poor. And not poor even financially. I was poor here.
Yes.
Which is the worst
Mental poverty is the worst. Yeah.
form of poverty. Yeah. So I did my first song with a renowned artist at that time, Jaguar. He's the one I started with. But I had nothing. I had 50 bob. I bought a kamtumba thing. Then that was in my video. In that video, by the way, I look hotness. By the way, that time, that was 50 bob. So you can start
I
where you
shall
are.
research.
Yeah. But this notion that people have of help me, support me, carry me, save me, because it's a thin line,
Yeah.
it's a victim also mindset.
Yeah.
Because I feel also as women, there's a way we border into that space sometimes. Then you now remove the tears, and then now it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Because now when you start crying, that's not what will someone tell you.
Yeah. The tears are.
The tears. Those are your weapons.
Yeah.
So just speak
Yeah.
into that. Yeah.
So I think you're right. You should start with something, and if you don't start with something, that's what leads to personal frustration and frustration, because you're dealing with your potential. You're not exercising your potential, because your potential will either manifest as an idea or something that you have to bring out, so that then people can come and plug into that space and help you evolve. Because again, it's also a growth curve. We are growing. We are growing from a small thing.
HP.
Yeah,
It was big.
Yeah,
But it was
yes,
HP.
yes, you're growing from that to, as you're evolving and becoming better in your craft as well. So the idea is to nurture what you have, and sometimes we forget that the thing you have is small. It's a small seed, and that's what Scripture says: do not
Yes.
despise the small beginning. that you always begin. That's a principle for anything to begin. It begins in a small space.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is to nurture it and to be faithful with that little thing. You know, be faithful. Do those uploads. Do that exercise again. I'd mentioned earlier in some of the podcasts that we've shared.
Yeah.
The idea of faithfulness not being a character trait but a discipline.
Mm.
So in that space, when you're starting your nurturing, be faithful. Wake up on time, do your thing, just do consistently. It doesn't matter whether you are 50 bob or 0 shillings.
Mm.
Just go do something, and eventually, as you're faithful in it, as you exercise the muscle of faithfulness, someone will come. The support will come.
Right.
The support will come, and you will receive it, and you will do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other idea of ambition, you're evolving, you're getting better, you're crafting it, and that's the whole idea. It's part of growth.
Right.
You become better.
Mm.
And as you practice, you become better. There's a saying my pastor would say, practice makes permanent. So there are things,
Not perfect.
No,
He said permanent.
Mm.
There's that as well. You become perfect, but also some things then become part of who you are. They become your personality, and it becomes who you now.
They become
show up.
habitual
They
now.
become habitual now,
Right.
and that's where you dwell in
Mm-hmm.
a habit. The whole idea of even say brushing your teeth at the very beginning when you were a child, it was very difficult.
Yeah, you had to be told.
You skive and you'll
Yeah.
be told, but now you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You look forward to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you are old and
Yeah.
the teeth are going. It's very
That's
scary.
true.
Scary.
So in that aspect as
Vivian,
well.
unaweza cheka tu.
Meno
Then
zangu-
you're gonna braces.
this is a whole podcast.
On itself.
This one is a full one. This one is full character development.
Yeah.
Nyama tunaioneanga kwa advertisement ama when other people are eating. But anyway, so just also as we talk about that, because we have, like for me, I'm in my 30s, right? So we have girls, younger girls, even younger guys in their 20s who are raking in a lot of money and being able to sustain themselves, and feeling like, oh, you thought I would never amount to anything, like what you were saying. But that guy, Wewe, if you're watching this one,
Actually, let me say
don't
something.
ever tell anyone
Let me
that.
tell something. Let me say something. Yeah. I'm ready. I practiced this in the car. I didn't know it would be for this podcast. Let me tell you something. Anyone who ever puts you down, like me personally, when I leave my exes means in any ex-boyfriend, ex-friends, ex-neighbors, ex, what is it? People who you work with, ex-colleagues. Me, when I leave them, you'll start wondering if we live in the same Nairobi, because I level up. I go up. I go where places you can never be. You see, if we used to go here downstairs, I am on level 9 and we're using a private entrance.
Right.
Yeah? So if anyone ever puts you down or has ever put you down, promise yourself you'll level up. Always promise yourself you'll go higher and better. And it's there.
Right.
The thing about it is people think better and higher is not attainable.
It is.
It's attainable and it's there. Not perfection. It's never going to be perfection.
Yeah.
But there's always better. If someone leaves you, if you
Excellence.
leave someone, yes, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And an X is an example of where you should never go back to. And never lower, please. Never lower. Personally, lower. Already I've been suffering. I go down. I can't. We are going up. We are headed to the sky.
Right. Yeah. It's also a principle, I mean, because at the end of the day, and I really feel like it's a borderline, because I know, like, in our society nowadays, everyone wants to have this notion that they have it all figured out. And I feel like that, especially when you attain the money. So money becomes your identity. Yeah. So even when you're feeling like shit, and that's normal. There are days you just feel like you cover that up. Yeah, you dress it up and you're like, it's not me. But I feel like that's also something we might need to address, right? Because you see, like, for me, when I started my music, it took me a longer time. But right now, younger artists are taking shorter to blow up. So, and the systems are better, Even something like Boomplay was not there. It was there, but it didn't have the muscle that it has now. Yeah. And so many platforms, Spotify for Africa, and just more platforms to make money.
Yeah.
So young people are making money when they're younger. But when I talked to them, because I meet up a lot of younger artists, the challenges are very similar to the challenges that I had, which is not knowing how to go about things, yeah, trying to look for their purpose and trying to identify, okay, so I'm making money.
Then-
What is my value? Is that my value? Yeah. Even just trying to understand themselves better. They don't know who they are, because you can make money. Me, I've made money and I didn't know who I was
Yeah.
at all. Yeah. So that aspect, because you feel sometimes when you're making money, it's like that's the beginning and the end of things. But you have, excuse me, I was 21 once, and I never thought I would get where I am
Yeah.
today. But I absolutely love the space and the age I'm in, because I am more in charge of myself and my life. That if you come at me and to say me you attack me or whatever, I don't feel a need to engage or respond.
I haven't gotten there yet. But
Yeah,
I'll get
you get there. It's a fantastic space.
it?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
extremely liberating.
No, I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
It's a form of freedom.
Is it?
Yeah,
It is.
Actually, it's liberated.
Yeah.
Because you're
No,
liberated.
no, you're going to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
It's
Me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
it is
there.
in regards to liberation, is that you see now who you are is not determined by your external
No.
circumstances. It's an inside job.
Yeah.
Okay.
As in, I know it's said so plainly that happiness is an inside job, but really,
It is.
completely, fully, it is. Because when you wake up, you have very little control over what happens
Externals.
externally.
Yeah.
90% of the time, what we plan our days to look like and what they actually look like,
Nothing alike.
they are not alike. So if you're constantly being molded and whatever, and it's something I've had to literally practice like crazy, yeah, pray about it, even just say, okay, I'm feeling this, but I don't like what I'm feeling, so I'm not gonna act on that.
You don't clap back?
No.
Not anymore, or no?
Not too much. Even when I did, it's not, you see, like how you said you're gentle. Naturally, I'm also a gentle person.
I'm
So
not gentle online.
you're not gentle online, okay. So when people sometimes come at me, depending on if I feel like there's something that someone else can be able to benefit from, or something that is elevating, because it's an energy and I don't want to come into your low energy. Excuse, I've taken years to create
That's
my
really
good
nice.
energy.
It's really nice.
So I'm not
Yeah.
coming here.
Yeah.
Me, I'm moving.
So you don't clap back?
Rarely. In fact,
Really?
I don't.
Not in the yeah.
I don't.
Really?
There's a time when I was trying to figure out who I am, and I was smack in the middle of the music space, and I was touring a lot and I was performing a lot, and I had different kinds of people around me all the time. I would be easily agitated, like constantly. But I realized, number one, I was getting into spaces that I didn't want to get into. So I had to learn, okay, this one I can do. This one, I can give you a number. But it's not me.
What you're saying is you had to create boundaries.
Yes, I had to create boundaries, and I had to learn who I am and
Were
what
you too
works
young
for me.
when you started?
Not really.
Okay.
I was not too young. But the thing about music is a very interesting space, because today you're a nobody, tomorrow you are everybody. And your phone is blowing up and
in a
everything.
second.
In a second. So your life,
There's no growth. It's
there's
just a
no,
spike.
it's like there is a growth, but when you get into that space, it's like you are literally here, then now you're here.
And
Because
you're the center of everything.
yes, and then now you start growing if you're consistent and you keep releasing, which I was, because I had the right manager at the time. I kept growing. But when I started, I just used to live in Doni. So mi nilikuwa naingia kwa mat, I hear my song in the mat. But by that time, my face was not popular, but I kept growing and growing and growing and growing and touring and all those things. So it got to that level. But I had to look at my life and like, I don't like
who you're becoming.
That certain aspects.
Yeah, I don't like this chick. Who is she again? This is one boy, this Vivian chick. I don't like her vibes.
Okay.
So I had to now start undoing and unlearning, because it's also a culture that we have in entertainment, that when you are a star, no one else matters other than you. So
And
you
even to go to that point, what
Yeah.
you're saying, success has two components.
Yes.
There's the inner success and
Oh,
the external
yeah.
success. And sometimes we get so, because we've been socialized, the outer success is what is of more value. So you seek the outer success and you forget the inner success of who you're becoming, creating those boundaries that she's mentioned. And also just that self-discipline of sitting in something even when you don't like it. You know, just doing things you don't like doing, because you have to evolve and manage because eventually, as she said, greatness is actually an inside job.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes that's what we are not taught, because it's easy. So your skill set can blow up in a minute.
Yes.
Right.
You're good. You practice your skill set to
Yes.
get you wherever it will open the door.
Mm-hmm.
But the harder door of maintaining the door is that
Mm.
inner world where you're managing your thought pattern, your
Mm.
emotions,
Mm.
your eating habits, just that inner dialogue, what you're saying to yourself. How
That's
do
the
you,
hardest
Yeah.
part.
and
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
hardest part.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where the hard
And that's what is in the heart.
Yes.
Because now it's the heart space.
yes.
Whereby how do
Yes.
you respond when someone tells you no?
Mm,
Do you feel like people always have to do what you want?
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're
feel
processing.
Yeah, I'm processing because you're
Yeah.
not going to tell me no. I'm sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked for it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know.
But
I'm
you
in a
can be
process.
told
Yeah.
no.
No, you should be
Yeah.
told no.
Yeah.
You should be told no. But I also believe in knocking on the right doors.
Yes.
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 So
So that's another thing. I like
Yeah.
that because it's like how you position yourself also
Mhm.
directly impacts the people you attract.
Yes.
If unashindanga Karomaindo pale, I don't know if that club is still open.
It's,
One
actually,
goes-
it's not an image. It's actually for real.
it is. There's Karomaindo.
it's a club.
I think it's a club. Na ile Sabina Joy. See, it's those sites.
I've heard of it, yes.
Sorry, guys.
No,
In
no, it's
Nairobi,
okay. I've heard of it on,
you've
on,
heard
on
of it
Twitter. Yes,
on
I've
Twitter.
heard of it.
Okay, it
Yeah.
actually exists
Oh, okay.
outside of Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So it's
All right. Well.
so it has it's like an interesting joint. I don't
If you
chomea
yeah.
them, but it has
If you stay there.
strippers and
Oh.
whatever. So if you spend your time there
Yeah.
all the time,
You become
there's a
that.
certain caliber of people that will come your way, and you'll
Yes.
also become that person.
Yeah.
Because there's this concept, it's like one of the things we study in psychology is like you'll get people who say, I'm an addict, but I want to stop. But because all my friends they like hanging and they like having a drink, then I'll just be hanging out with them, but I won't be drinking.
No, but you're the company you keep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So
for
that's impossible.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's easier said. A lot of us, we are so afraid of being alone.
Because sometimes that's what it requires.
I want to ask why.
Yes.
Why are people afraid to be alone?
Pastel, please take it away.
You know, like I've never understood peer pressure because I've never faced peer pressure. Because you're not going to make me do something I don't want to do. How are you going to make me what?
Then you're the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
You're exception.
Because
in that
sometimes
way.
even being alone is sometimes even people you love telling you, I want space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I said that. I said I'm not a people person. And after today, I'll come out of the house on Thursday. I meant it. Because I want to be alone. I want to decompress. How are people not okay with being alone?
Yeah, you're the exception to the rule. 'Cause
Yeah.
even I struggled with the whole idea because my gift now would work for other people. And I thought, I enjoyed that idea of sitting and talking with people, then praying them, and then they blow up and they become something else. Then I struggled with my own journey of sitting.
Really?
In stillness. Yeah.
What do I do with this? Because you have to have activity, and it's part of our socialization as well within the context of family, where you have to be doing something, perform so that you can see you. But sitting still, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
What are
don't
you
like
doing?
people even.
What
Even
are you-
I'm fine. Even let me not even never
But
see you.
always remember people are everywhere.
No,
Yes.
I when I decide, you see,
Mhm.
that's the thing. If I decide to be where
Right.
the people are,
Right.
I'll go
Prepared
there.
yourself
Right.
psychologically
Yes.
to
Right.
do
And
that.
I'll go and I'll seek it.
Right.
I'll seek it and I'll be
You'll
like,
seek for the
yes,
socialization.
and I'll go and the last time I socialized was 3 weeks ago on a Friday.
Right.
And I seeked it really, and I kept saying, where are you? I'll come. And I
Yeah,
went
yeah.
and I sat with a group of people. It was
Right.
actually like a podcast.
Yeah.
We were just talking.
Right.
And then after 2 hours, hey, I'm going home. And
Right.
I left, but I got my what I needed. Then after that, I've been alone.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It puzzles me about people who can't be alone.
Mm.
Because I know people who cannot be alone,
that's
and I
where they
don't know how
thrive.
it.
Also, just think about it like this. Also, we behave based on what we've observed
Yeah.
growing up sometimes. So if there's a child, there's someone who's grown up in a family of 7, right? So they've always had people around them. That's what they know, right? Or someone who's even been married for many years, then sorry to say, maybe something happens to the husband or the wife, or they go through a separation or whatever, now they have to learn
To be alone.
to be alone, because you are used to having like somewhere to bounce off your stuff and all these things. And it's a unique concept, because it's like what you like saying, at any one time, you're an individual, but you're also a member of a community. Yeah, so people being able to understand, even when you're in a marriage, or even when you're with your buddies, or even when you're with your family. And we hear it all the time, people saying, I have people around me, but I feel alone.
You see, that's the other thing. You see these comedians or these big people who commit suicide.
Yeah.
And they're surrounded
by people
at every single second.
Yes.
And they say they're feeling alone.
That's inner work. There's a part in you that you've not cracked. There's a code within you that you've not cracked, and that's your responsibility.
Right.
So your gift can actually usher you, and you have people. Suddenly you just have people because they like you. They like your gift. They like you because you give perks around you. There are perks and advantages around you.
Okay.
Right.
And therefore,
so you're still alone.
You're still alone because they don't see you.
Yeah,
and
because
not even allowed them to see
it's
you.
transactional
Yes.
also.
Yes, that's
as hard as that sounds.
Yeah.
It is transactional.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a new thing going around where they said you can't love someone out of depression. Like I can love you, but I can't love you out of.
No.
You have to do the work for you.
For exactly.
Yeah.
Kabisa.
Like you can't. If I'm depressed, you can't love me enough for me to stop being depressed or something of the
But
sort.
you can support.
Can support. Yes.
But it puzzles me how the mind works.
Yeah.
How all these things are going on.
You see, it's based on what also you feed your mind.
Yes.
And we take that lightly. Yeah, we're like, hiyo kitu aningi. So you're on your phone, you're scrolling, maybe you're looking at memes, you're watching videos, you're watching comedy, you're watching whatever it is you're watching. People watch all kinds of things. You're watching pornography, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All those things are taking form and shape inside your mind.
Really?
Absolutely.
Subconscious even. See, that's even
because
part of
depression, it's an emptiness.
Actually,
right.
I had a discussion with her before.
Right.
You came in.
Right.
Small discussion where you talk about what people consume online.
Right.
And I was telling her that when I started my YouTube, it was for me.
Yeah.
And I said what I wanted to say, and I spoke her. I said what I wanted to say, but now I feel a little responsible for people, and I'm very sarcastic.
Yes.
Even if I'm typing, if I'm writing, but it used to be taken out of context.
Yes.
But because according to me, like what you're saying on your phone, according to me, social media is not real.
Yes.
According to me. Only to me.
Right.
Because no one else seems to grasp that social media is not real. And I believe that the things you're seeing, those people you're seeing, they're in your phone.
Yes.
I believe you can turn it off.
Yes.
And you can go outside and touch grass.
Yes.
It has been very difficult for me to transition because, and I said to her earlier, if I say social media is not real, there will be someone out there who asks me, how is it not real when you make a living off of it?
Yes.
Right.
Then it becomes real because the money I get is tangible.
Yeah.
The hookups I get are tangible. Everything is tangible. So then, Maureen, how is it not real? And I'm unable to explain. But to me, I still feel it's not a real place. If I argue with someone on social media, I'm not supposed to meet you and then you tell me you said this. It's a platform somewhere floating in the sky. We don't even know. Do we actually know what Instagram is? If it left your phone, could you actually touch it? You can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't touch anything else. So that concept to me it's wild.
I get that, but it's like what we were talking about earlier, I think with Dr. Pete. And you see, we have this thing that only what you see, feel, touch is real, which is not true.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
I think I had to take into account people's feelings. The closest one I had a few days ago.
Right.
I said, personally,
right,
I'm a Nairobi girl.
Right.
Born in Nairobi, grew up in Nairobi, love Nairobi.
Right.
I love Nairobi. You cannot, there's nothing you can do to me to hate Nairobi. But then there are always these Twitter threads. What happened to you when you came to Nairobi? I guess they're from Karumainda or wherever they're from. So I love Nairobi. I love everything about Nairobi. And like I said before about the Twitter threads, you go on there and there's people who came to Nairobi and they were robbed and bad things happen to them. Things that I know because I was raised here, I know that they're happening.
Yeah.
But you see, because I was raised here, I know how to identify a robber and I run the other way. But if you're from wherever, Keriamega or wherever, you don't know. So I had someone step up to me. Well, it was recent. We were at a dinner and she came to me and she said that I said that people who move out of Nairobi it was during the craze of social media and everyone was moving to I think they were moving to the coastal region.
Yeah.
And I said, on a light note, it was in jest. If you're moving out of Nairobi, you really have nothing going on for you.
Right.
Like you've lost it.
Right.
Because to me, this is the hub, this is the place to be. But she carried it. That
Mm-hmm.
lady carried it. And I don't know her. I
Right.
don't think she had thought she'd ever seen me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a thing she remembered about me. And that's why I think social media is a terrible place.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said it in jest. I don't care if you move out of Nairobi, move. Go and
Right.
be who you want to be
Right.
in Raka or wherever. Is Raka in Nairobi?
Kiambu.
It's Kiambu.
Yeah, go
Right.
go to Kiambu, go
Yeah.
and be there. Go to Muranga, go
Right.
go to Thika.
Right.
For all I care. But I said it in jest.
Right.
Because I personally would never,
Yeah.
ever
Right.
move
Move
out
from
of
Nairobi.
Never. You
Okay.
couldn't pay me
Yeah.
to move out of Nairobi. Even if I move, I have a place in Nairobi.
Yeah, and that's interesting because the same thing I was talking about, like we base our decisions based on our experiences, and that's why everyone sees life differently because you're seeing it based on what you experienced. And it's funny because I've also grown up in Nairobi, full 100%, born in Nairobi, raised in Nairobi. My grandparents, one lived in my mom's side, Pangani, my dad's side, sides Kahawa. So Nairobi, that was Shags. But as I grew and morphed, and especially when I burst out into the limelight, I started seeing things in a different light. Perhaps it's trauma. I need healing.
Did you just have self-revelation?
I need
Right
healing.
now.
But right now I live outside Nairobi. There's a friend of mine, he's here, he's called John. Every time when we're having a work call and I'm like, is it your network? Like, Madam, you're the one in Kajiado.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, excuse me. When we go for meetings, nafikanga mbele yako, all the way from there. But for me also naturally, because I realize my creativity does much better when I'm outside Nairobi. Like the grass, the way you're talking about, the nature, and just to be able to sit and to reflect. Because I also think one of my gifts, and it's ingrained also in my purpose, is to always to disrupt. So for you to be a disruptor, you can't be constantly surrounded by people, and there's also a Nairobi culture, but that's my belief system.
There's a Nairobi culture.
I feel like
Absolutely,
there is.
What's the Nairobi culture? Look at someone who doesn't go outside.
There's a way we do things that even now, compare this to Turkana, someone in Pokot, with the social settings and stuff. There are things that we say, even the lingo we use, that they can't get it. And we are the same age, but they won't get what you're saying because of just the upbringing, the buildings and stuff. So yeah, the superstructure buildings. There are people who come here and they're, oh my gosh, the buildings. It's all because it's so magnificent. And then that means that there's a way to operate. There's a way now you have to operate around it. And then plus, this is where, if you want to make it big, come to Nairobi, because this is where you'll be amplified. Your voice will be amplified in this city across the nations.
Yeah.
So there's that, and the migration actually is from rural to urban areas because this is where the money is supposed to be. Ideally.
Yeah.
People are moving to cities because that's where you can make the most money and even trade at a higher level.
Right.
Exchange. So there's that as well. So it's being forced. It wasn't like this over 10 years ago. It wasn't like this. It's just that over time it's become such a commercialized city.
Right.
And people follow money. That's what they do. And so and with that, as people are coming, people are the ones who carry culture and replicate culture. So
it's a city
changes.
culture.
Yeah, it shifts and morphs as we go along. But do
you love Nairobi?
I do. I don't mind it, but I also don't mind being in.
And when we're talking about Nairobi, are you guys talking about CBD? Because I don't like CBD.
No. Just the general city. And I like what she was talking about when she said also the work culture. because you see, there is a work culture whereby, I don't know, you need to be careful when you're in Nairobi in regards to being able to know what your self-worth is.
I am so glad you touched on that, because I wanted to circle back to the beginning.
Right.
Remember when you asked where this strong woman thing came from?
Right.
It came from that nonsense, and I'm going to call it nonsense
Right.
very strongly.
Mhm.
That nonsense called hustle culture. That hustle culture is the
It's
epitome.
toxic.
It's toxic. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely loathe it.
Mm.
And like I said, I believe in gentleness.
Right.
I believe you can be strong and gentle at the
Yes,
same time.
Right.
You don't. And this hustle culture that began with the women wanting to show, women were always working.
Yes.
Let's not get it wrong.
Right.
Women were always working more than anyone
Ever.
we've
Yeah.
ever known.
Yeah.
It's just now that it's at the forefront. And now because you wake up at 5 a.m. and you show us on social media that you wake up at 5 a.m., which I've also done. I've also shown waking up early. That's where it came from, and I think it's toxic.
Yeah.
I think it's terrible. And now you're seeing, I actually follow one very amazing woman. Her name is Patricia Bright on YouTube, and she has been of that notion of hustle culture for 7 years now, as I've been following her.
Right.
And just last week she posted and she said, I'm sorry that I've been pushing this narrative of hustle culture for so long, because now I'm trying to live in the moment and I'm trying to be soft. And I was like, catch on, babe, because I've been living in it.
Yeah.
I've been living in, I don't want to say this word, but I'm going to say it. Softness.
Yeah.
I've been living in softness. There's nothing above God. And you don't need to, you need to work hard, but
Yes.
you don't
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
toil and strive.
Strive.
And wear it as a badge that I'm
Yeah.
so tired. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And that's the
You
thing,
know,
yeah, about,
busy.
I'm
yes,
busy.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Tiana, Dimo, you can't pick up
Yeah.
because you're so busy. I have time for you.
Yeah.
You have time for me.
Yeah.
But that hustle culture. And then that's the thing. If you
Nitakupigia.
if you show
Alafu.
gentleness in your space, if you show that
Yeah.
you're not struggling, dem akona nani,
Eh,
nani, you know, that sponsor
and all that is
narrative.
city culture, because outside of the
Yes.
city, like now in Kajiado, was I telling, like when I go for walks, niko huko na Masai, ero, and the cows, and I'm happy. I'm in my rubbers
You know,
and
no
my
pressure.
sweatpants.
Yes.
I don't, and I do have a working space inside my house. When I'm working, I
Yes, me
work.
too, yeah.
But I don't have this conditioning in my mind that I have to wake up and show that I work hard. And excuse me, I can wake up
sure.
and say, today I'm eating Indomie and sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
Please.
And no one
yeah,
should
and
say anything to you.
Yes, exactly.
no
And
one
so
should say anything to you.
outside Nairobi, it's not a thing because life it's gentler. Generally, also the atmosphere and the environment helps you. But you can only get there if you have a level of your self-worth and self-awareness that is outside your value based on what you bring to the table, which is very heightened. You have to get to another
It's
level.
heightened.
Yeah.
It's heightened because I had to prove that I was dating someone my age.
Mm.
That it wasn't an older man doing my upkeep. I had to, even to, until now, I still have to prove, not necessarily show, because I don't show it on social media, but it's how are you so comfortable? How are you so calm?
Right.
Amidst whatever nonsense is going on in the world. Why? Because I think it's true. That's the culture, that Nairobi culture.
And where even you feel better than, you know? You see, like for us, when you live in Kajiado, your neighbor can be a multi-millionaire, whatever. But when there are those community meetings, because they're there, it's a community. So we meet. But the way this guy is, you can't know.
You can't know.
You can't know.
But
And
that's
that,
how our parents were.
and that makes life so sweet, because you don't know when you're on the street. You don't know. You're just walking. You're doing
and
your
you
work.
don't need to know.
And you don't need to know. And it's
Exactly.
not a thing.
Exactly.
Because whatever you need to show so desperately means that you don't possess.
Hapa kidogo kidogo umeambiwa huyu alikuwa CEO. Huyu alikuwa CFO. What does CFO stand
and
for?
you have to keep doing this to your car keys, and you have to, you have to, here in Nairobi, because it's your identity.
Yeah. And
You have
that's,
to-
yeah.
It is a
You really
thing.
have to? No.
I don't know which
I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
No, me the Nairobi I mean is, I'm sorry.
But
Mine is
anyway.
different.
Yeah.
As we like closing remarks, because the core of this was to talk about the strong woman and if
Mhm.
she needs support. So we've established she needs support,
Yes.
but
Most
all this
definitely.
is also tied into identity.
Yes,
Because some
it's-
people
yeah.
live for support. No, people won't always be available
Can
for
we-
you
you
when
said-
you want.
You said that thing about victims. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah,
You know, there's something we didn't touch on.
yeah,
When support turns into you are being a victim. Do you know that there's people who that's their identity?
yeah,
Mm,
On social media.
yes,
yeah.
I have met women
yes,
whose identity
yes,
is being victims.
yes.
Niliachwa.
Wa, nili, yes,
I was cheated on.
yes.
And they carry that. Now that's what they
Their
carry like a
badge.
badge on.
Yeah,
You don't need support. You need
identity.
to know who you
To
are.
Yeah.
figure out who
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I was gonna say
And it's a and it's a
That
thing.
too.
You need Jesus as
Yeah.
well, but it's a thing because look at how also we've been socialized with Cinderella, you know, a knight in shining armor. There's
Damsel.
someone, damsel in distress. So you're waiting to be saved, and it has done us a good one. Kwanza
Really?
millennials, absolutely,
Really?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Perhaps your upbringing maybe was different, or maybe you were exposed to a different space, but ideally
Majority.
the majority of the woman tries to tweak and twerk themselves to
be saved.
be saved, of which it's borderline,
No.
you know, because you have to be able to realize you can be supported, but you have to have something that is solid enough to be supported.
Yeah.
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 And I think that's what we are really essentially saying. That's the backbone of the conversation today.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you have to show up and do your thing. Take responsibility, personal responsibility, and break away from that idea of a dependency on other people or someone else to come and support you.
Yeah.
Across as well, because again, we've also been socialized of aid. The whole idea of aid, I come to rescue someone. You know, just get your thing, figure
Yeah.
out your thing, find your thing,
Yeah.
your gift or whatever,
Yeah.
your talent, or even a job, just and sit with it and be faithful and allow someone else to come in.
And I
So
think,
that you
yeah.
have a healthy balance. At the end of the day, we are seeking to be a healthy woman, a healthy, strong woman who
Yeah.
understands personal responsibility, but also communal responsibility.
And what she was talking about, the gentleness, which is the
Yes.
Compassion,
Yes.
which is empathy, which is okay. No one is telling you to keep quiet, but
Yes.
also think about what you're saying.
Yes.
Is it edifying? Are you actually elevating, or are you unaendelea ukichimba?
Yeah.
Because we don't need to keep chimbaing.
Yeah.
We now need to keep elevating.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that it was put in a compact way that's understandable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I believe in gentleness and all those things.
Yes.
But the most important thing I took from this was that if you need support, you have to have something worth supporting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was supported because it was there.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not. It didn't
was
just
not-
come.
yeah.
And lift me onto the camera.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Mm.
Yeah. Which is what you're right. Millennials are waiting for that. Someone says, "Unajua chali yake kama kiniona." And it doesn't work like that.
No.
You have to have shown it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I learned so much.
Yeah.
I did.
Us too.
Us too, yes. Awesome.
Signing out. Art, heart, and heart. Ebu, Maureen, say it properly. Nini, with
Oh, let
you said annunciation
enunciation.
and enunciate
Guys.
that one.
Not enunciate.
Uh-huh.
Enunciation.
Enunciation.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's heart for
Uh-huh.
your heart, and your heart like your heart and art. Say the R. Say the EA. Goro. Nini, English lessons are on my channel. Swear. For real. In Kikuyu and English.
So wrap.